It's good to see you. Welcome back to Raven's View. I'm David Sheakley-Early, and today we're going to take a look at the iPhone 13 Pro Max and compare it side by side to the iPhone 11 Pro Max and take a look at some of the visual differences here, some of the weight differences, and some of the specs as well. Alright, if you're thinking about getting the iPhone 13 Pro Max or maybe even the 11 Pro Max, this video might be for you. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. This is the iPhone 13 Pro Max and the iPhone 11 Pro Max side by side, just to take a look here. In case you're wondering, maybe I need to upgrade. I took the plunge and upgraded here. Right away when I took this out of the box, it was considerably heavier, at least it felt like it to me, than the 11. It's also a little more boxier, so this is the kind of square build, square edges around the phone versus the round edges on the 11. So it feels a little kind of just boxier in general. But also it just feels bigger, feels heavier a little bit. It's a little bit, if you put them just side by side here, it's a little bit taller and a little bit fatter as well this way. So it has the same frosted back. The cameras are different as well, so you can see that this one, the circles on the cameras are rounder, or bigger I guess I should say, than this one, and the square itself for the cameras are bigger as well. They also protrude out from the camera a lot more than the iPhone 11, so I don't know if you could see the differences there, but this one definitely pops out a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit different. The SIM card on this one are on the different side, so SIM card is on this side for the new one and on this side for the 11 and this side on the 13. Let's see, the toggle switches for the silent button stick out a little bit more on the iPhone 13, so you can kind of really just kind of grab it a little easier, where the 11 kind of like blends in a little bit more, I guess. So this one kind of is inset a little bit more in the 11. The 13 pops out a little bit more. The buttons also for the volume buttons are a little bit more raised on the 13 versus the 11 as well. So they're you can kind of feel them a little bit more with your fingers as you kind of go around them. Same thing with the kind of the side button, and they're about the same size, and not too much of a difference really on that one. They're pretty close. Let's see what else. The bottom, there's the bottom, very, very similar. Same amount of dots or openings for the speakers on this side versus this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, six dots on the bottom for this speaker, and 7, and then 4 and 4 on this side. So one less dot on the 13 for the speakers on the bottom there. Same lighting port. There's this other kind of, I guess it's like a thumb grabber, I think is what it is. So it's just kind of, you can see right here on the side, this is just kind of a little indent that's in the side of it, and so that would be, right where your thumb would go. So just something extra to hang on to, I guess, when you're kind of grabbing your phone. So the biggest differences really are the flat edge screen on the 13 Pro Max, and it's heavier for sure. It has a little bit of a larger screen, 6.7 screen versus a 6.5 inch screen, and also 120 Hertz ProMotion on the 13 Pro Max, and that makes a difference when you're scrolling on web pages and things like that. It's a lot smoother on the 13 than it is on the 11, and I'll show you what I mean here. The Apple A15 on the 13 versus the A13 chip. Okay, we're going to scroll, see if you can see the difference. I can definitely see the difference in my view while I'm here. So it definitely is a lot smoother on the iPhone 13 than it is on the 11, just when scrolling. So that's one thing that comes out for sure. The battery life is a lot more improved on the 13, so that's also going to play into why the 13 is a little bit heavier. And all new colors. So this is the new color here. It's a little tricky to see maybe, but this is the kind of that Sierra blue is what they call it. This is the white version of the iPhone 11. The triple camera system, on both cameras, except on the 13 is upgraded. Let's see. Oh, the other thing is the notch. It's a little harder to see the notch on this wallpaper. Let me change the wallpaper and see. Okay, so I just changed the wallpaper on this one so you can actually see the full notch on there. The notch on the 13 over here is a little bit smaller than the other one, and it's supposed to be about 20% smaller, so you could see the difference there. It is smaller. Not much, but you know, a little bit is better than nothing. Overall, it feels really good though. It's I guess just chunkier and heavier. I can tell that right away. If you stick a case on here, it's going to be even, of course, a little more bigger and chunkier, a little even heavier than that. So you'll kind of have to factor that in. The camera though is going to be a really slick part, and that's one of the things that that I was upgrading to get that extra reach on the telephoto, and also the video capabilities that it has. So one of the things that I wanted to upgrade to the 13 versus the 11 is the cameras. And the cameras on the back, you can see, are a lot bigger, just take up a lot more space on the 13 than it does on the 11. 13 has a bigger telephoto, so this is a 3 times on the 13 and a 2 times on the 11. The other thing that is improved on the 13 on the cameras are the apertures. And if you know anything about apertures, more light is better, and that's usually you know, for all lenses and cameras and things like that. The bigger the aperture, the more light comes in, and then also it allows to create more blur in the background. With the 13, this is a 26 millimeter camera on the wide, and it's a 1.5 aperture on the 13 Max Pro versus a 26 millimeter but a 1.8 aperture on the 11. And the ultra wide camera is 13 millimeter on the 13 Pro Max with a 1.8 aperture versus a 2.4 aperture on the 11. The other thing is a telephoto, and that's what really is going to be fun to have, is a 3 times telephoto zoom on this one versus the 2 telephoto. And the 13 has a 2.8 f-stop, and the 11 has a 2.0 f-stop. This has bigger range and bigger f-stop opening, and the bigger the opening lets more light in, and so that's another thing that's going to improve on low light or nighttime photography, or just somewhere where you have low light, which is like all the time. So it's going to help out quite a bit on this one. So that's going to be really cool, and that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to upgrade. I always kind of got in with this one, and I was like, you know what, it'd be nice to have a little bit more reach sometimes with this phone, and so I was really hoping and waiting for this one to come out to have that little extra reach and better aperture. So one of the new features with the photography part of the iPhone 13 is the photographic styles, which is personalize the look of your photos by bringing your preferences into the capture. Photographic styles uses advanced scene understanding to apply the right amount of adjustments to different parts of the photo. So we're going to hit choose style. So the different styles are standard style, rich contrast, vibrant, warm, cool. So that changes the different ones there. So let's see. I'm going to take a photo. So real quick, is just the 2 times versus the 3 times. This is the 2 times on the 11 and the 3 times on the 13. And I just, from the same exact spot, just went over and took a picture of a plant that's in this room here. And you can see that it not only looks brighter with the 13, and geez, I could see even better color in this one, but also definitely closer too, obviously. So that aperture is going to make a big difference with letting more light in, and that's going to be huge. It's going to be so nice to just have that better quality photo when you have less light in general. And then when you need a little bit of an extra reach without using the digital zoom. Digital zoom and optical zoom are definitely different things. So you always want to use optical zoom as much as you can. Digital zoom is really just cropping the photo, and so you're not really using the lens itself. You're using kind of a crop mode where you're kind of taking a section and blowing it up digitally. So the optical zoom is definitely the advantage on the iPhone 13. Yeah, so it's looking really good. I can see just some of the sharpness and just the brightness really in the photos. Yeah, so I'm really excited to go out and capture some more stuff with these photos and put it to the test. One of the other really awesome things that I'm looking forward to is the cinematic video. And the cinematic video on the iPhone 13 is says here, add beautiful shallow depth of field and focus transitions to your video automatically. Your video depth information is stored and allows you later to change the depth of field effect. So that is going to be really, really cool. So you can be able to, the depth of field is basically what is in focus and what's not in focus. So when you can kind of blur out some of the background, that's a shallow depth of field. And when you can see more things in the background and in the foreground, or the subject that you're looking at is kind of a longer depth of field. It's great to have that really shallow depth of field to blur out some of the background. So right now in cinematic mode, I can see that, man, oh man, it is really cool. I'm taking some photo of just the iPhone here, and the back, and off the table that I'm using, the background is all blurred out. So that is looking super, super awesome. I'm really going to be awesome and excited to check that out and really show and get some videos. I'll get some videos and show later on. So the regular video versus the cinematic video is really, really cool. All right, so that's some of the big things that I switched over from the 11 Pro Max to the 13 Pro Max. So this is just a first look, a side-by-side comparison of the two, and just kind of my first initial thoughts and look at them side by side. So if you're thinking about upgrading, or if you have any questions, feel free to send them down in the comments and let me know, and I'll do what I can about getting back to you. So there you have it. There is this kind of side-by-side look at the 13 Pro Max and the 11 Pro Max. Well, if you like this and it was helpful to you, give it a thumbs up and think about subscribing. I have some other videos with some iPhones, lots of drone photography, wildlife photography, outdoor stuff, product reviews, lots of different things like that. So anyway, check out some of the other videos and we will see you next time. Gunalchéesh. Gunalchéesh.